Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Politics is, of course, a very capricious game. It's also a cruel mistress, as Humza Yousaf is slowly learning. To be fair, everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong. Falling membership, lying about information, the previous regime being arrested and questioned, accusations of corruption, of fraud, there's vicious infighting, and all of this at the helm is a man who could barely scrape over the line, even with all the help of the party machinery. A man who has failed in everything, a man whose ineptness was well suited to every role he's had, now that he's completely inept in the role of leader. Although the term leader is a misnomer, he may be the man at the top, but he's no leader. Well, he's more or less doomed the party now. He's taking on the British government, the UK government, in a court case that he can't possibly win. It's going to cost the taxpayer millions, just so his friends, the fat cat lawyers, can grow even fatter. He is going to lose the case. He will be then further embarrassed. He'll be further weakened on a case that 99% of Scots are dead against anyway, that people in his own party are dead against anyway, and he's doing it not because of any deep conviction of his own, but simply to keep on board the mad lunatics of the Green Party so that he can maintain a government. The man is a serial loser, as we know, but has he doomed the party? It's starting to look like that. I mean, hell, unless Lorraine Kelly takes over, nobody will ever look to the SNP again in anything other than a bad light. Well, even the actor Brian Cox, now that's Brian Cox the actor, not Brian Cox the physicist, has said that the party needs to change its name. The Scottish National Party is too much aligned to the National Socialist Party that was very popular in Germany in the 30s, and given the history of the SNP and its support for that particular brand of socialism, it's not surprising. I mean, they were born out of the same cloth. The SNP supported the Nazis during the Second World War in their fight against Britain. So it's no surprise to find that the air of secrecy and of nastiness that pervades the National Socialists also pervades the SNP. And people are starting to see it for what it is, and it's about time. So are they doomed? Well, it's starting to look that way, which will be no bad thing for Scotland. So let's have a look at this article and see if anyone can save the SNP. So the headline, Humza Yousaf may have doomed the SNP as a political force. Well, they're more a political farce now, aren't they? His attempt to resurrect the gender proposals that ended Nicola Sturgeon's reign is political madness. He should be trying to distance himself as far as possible from that regime. He called himself the continuity candidate. And then it seems that is not a very good idea, given what's happening with that regime. So you'd think he'd be stepping away, and instead he's following up. He's doubling down, and he's put his cards completely on the table so that we can see exactly who and what he is. So shrewd political operators learn quickly that when you're in a hole, you stop digging. But Humza Yousaf, the new SNP leader and Scotland's First Minister, is not shrewd. Well, hell, don't need to tell us that. In deciding to pursue a legal challenge in the UK courts over the blocking of his predecessor Nicola Sturgeon's gender reforms, he will only succeed in imperiling his already fragile leadership. This, I think, will be the final nail in his leadership coffin. I think he'll be carried from the building. He'll be, let's just say, disposed of with a little bit of dignity, but not much. They gave Sturgeon a tiny bit of dignity and allowed her to resign, but she was marched out the building, make no bones about it. He too will be marched out the building, little cardboard box in hand, given a pat on the back in front of the paparazzis, but effectively fired. It will come soon. Unionists everywhere should welcome Yousaf's latest blunder. It will inflict even graver damage on the independence cause by further yoking it to a social agenda out of kilter with the majority of Scots. Polls have shown the public is strongly opposed to Sturgeon's gender proposals. They both remove the need for a medical diagnosis of gender dysphoria, and they lower the time period over which someone must live their required gender in order to obtain a gender recognition certificate. And they also allow 16 and 17-year-olds to do so. The Scottish Government says that 16 and 17-year-olds are, of course, mature enough to make life-changing decisions at that age, but apparently not mature enough to understand what doing anything terrible to a child is. So it's a bit of a dichotomy they have there about the mental acuity of people between, say, 16 and 25. But there's no answer for that. It is simply political madness for Yousaf to revisit the issue, which has divided his party and isolated the hierarchy from much of its grassroots, far more focused on independence. Perhaps he believes that doing so will distract attention from the ongoing police investigation into the alleged SNP financial irregularities. But if so, his useless tag is well earned. Every time Argentina, the government of Argentina, of whatever hue, gets into trouble, they always raise the Falkland Islands. It's a distraction to the people. But it doesn't wash. It just doesn't work. We're never giving them up. And we're never forgetting how useless is, nor how corrupt and fraudulent the last regime was. It doesn't matter what he does to try and distract us. We are, with laser-like precision, focused on everything they have done and what they're currently doing. I am not backing down on this. I am not backing down on this fight. And, you know, it doesn't matter what he says and what he tries to do. We know, we see every day what is happening. And we will bring it to you. Anyway, as a diversionary tactic, picking the constitutional fight over a matter so plainly divisive is hardly going to erase from voters' minds the scenes they witnessed last week. New scandals continue to engulf the party daily, almost daily now. Notably, the revelation that its auditors actually resigned 6 months ago rather than the very recent past. And the SNP appears to be crumbling before our eyes. Yousaf would surely want to dissociate himself from the previous regime that helped put him into power, but is now so corroded it cannot secure him there. Yet he still seeks to serve his old boss rather than try to unite feuding nationalists. That's because he has got no political nous. He does not see what's in the room. He can't read the room. You know, he goes in and he's like a child. He's like a naive child in a room full of wolves. He doesn't see what's happening to him. He's only got there because people better versed in the game of politics have put him there. He has no idea. How can he not see that his most pressing battle is within his own ranks, not with Westminster? Just a fortnight into the job, and there have been calls to rerun the leadership election that put him into Butte House. Reopening the gender wounds at this moment will only provide ammunition to his chief rival, Kate Forbes, narrowly beaten and amassing a court of backbench support for her fresh vision of the party. Forbes, a devout Christian, said that had she not been on maternity leave, she would have voted against the gender bill, and if elected, she would not have demanded a judicial review. She has got more of a finger on the pulse of feeling of the Scottish people than he could ever have, because he doesn't understand. He's almost a psychopath, I think. He's got no understanding of what ordinary people think. Although her religious convictions, so at odds with Sturgeon's radicalism, were considered a handicap in her leadership bid just a month ago, she now looks appealingly spotless against the grime that appears to be engulfing the party. Yousaf, also culturally conservative, made his first mistake in excluding Forbes from his cabinet by seeking to demote her, offering the Rural Affairs brief, which she declined. Now, as he struggles to assert his authority, the SNP may look to her as their saviour. I do think she is the only one who can do anything to save the SNP. I said this in a video earlier, that she's not the Messiah, she's just a naughty girl, but she is definitely the only one that could unite the party in terms of abandoning the unpopular and concentrating on the first principles of governance, which is to govern. She's already said that for now, the independence issue is a back burner issue. She wants to concentrate on the economy, on social issues, and on health. And I think doing what she's doing there, abandoning the things like the gender reform and the bottle deposit scheme, another thing she's very critical of, that putting the stupidity aside, she may lose the Greens. If she becomes leader, she will lose the Greens, but she would be able to run on a vote by vote basis and govern on a vote by vote basis. And by doing that, should be able to lead at least the party through till the next election. I don't think Humza Yousaf will make it to the end of May. It's as tight as that, it really is. The UK government has confirmed that it will robustly defend its veto over the Gender Recognition Reform Bill. It is almost certain to win, further undermining Yousaf's authority and drawing attention to his decision to pursue an agenda loathed by so many. It is hard to see how this ends without the SNP's credibility forever tarnished. It may even be doomed as a political force. In such circumstances, it would take a political titan to navigate a way out of this mess. Instead, Yousaf seems determined to dig his own grave, and the SNP's with it. And that, I think, sums it up. The man has no vision. He has no political knowledge. He cannot see the way the wind is blowing. And so he's standing there pissing into it. And it's just going to take him down. And we're here to watch, and we're here to laugh. Anyway, I shall round off, come up, and we'll finish the video. So I think over the next few days, I think Kate Forbes will start to exert authority. She's already written a letter to all the members asking them, don't leave if you're considering it, and to those who have recently left, telling them to trust her and to come back. They're going to fight and they're going to change the party. I think she's already manoeuvring. I think there's plans in place that certain people will start making the right noises to try and either get Humza Yousaf to resign or to at least go back and rerun the election. There's already claims now because it broke the party's own rules, the 77-day rule. So there's already cases now that since he seems so enamoured on going to court over sort of petty procedural things, that somebody could take the SNP to court over the rules over the election. If that's the case, then Humza's out. He's done. He will not get a second chance. Kate Forbes will be in, and the party may be saved. But on the Brian Cox thing, I think he actually has a point. The SNP was in bed with the National Socialists in Germany for so long. They're so enamoured of the same kind of things, which is where this air of secrecy, of cult almost, it's a cult of the SNP. I think it needs to root and branch change, and I think a change of name and a change of approach would work wonders for the party. I think Kate Forbes is the only one perhaps who could do it. It needs to become less radical, more mainstream, and actually, yes, okay, it can maintain its, shall we say, its direction towards independence, but it must concentrate first and foremost on governance, on good governance. And of course it must be open, transparent, and above all, virtuously clean. And nothing like that can ever be said of the SNP. Anyway, that's a problem going forward for whoever takes over. I do think that it will be Kate. I think Kate's the only one who can do it. Other than, as I say, Lorraine Kelly, but I think she's busy. Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for listening. If you like what you see in here on the channel, please hit that subscribe button right away. Ring that bell. Leave a like, leave a comment. Please, please, please share that video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, vote for Lorraine Kelly, and goodbye.